They say if you hear poo, poo, poo in the night, run. Don't look, don't answer, because it means she's close. The 8-foot-tall woman. She wears white, floats like smoke, and once she chooses you, she follows you for life. Uju was warned, but curiosity is what got people taken. Poo, poo, poo. Once you hear it, she's already coming. Once she sees you, she never stops watching. They called her Ne Onunu, the first mother of the forest, though no one dared to utter her name aloud. Instead, they whispered of her as the Tall One. But children who heard the stories would just call her Auntie Poo Poo in frightened whispers, not knowing if they were playing or praying. She wore a white wrapper that never got dirty, and wherever she passed, the air grew still, like it forgot how to move. And she always came with a sound, soft, steady, haunting. Poo, poo, poo. Low and hollow, like a drum beaten by ghostly hands. A sound like a spirit clapping softly, like a masquerade humming from far away. The old ones say she was once a goddess cast from the heavens for desiring the souls of children. They say her feet never touch the ground, that she floats like harmattan smoke, swaying, gliding, calling. And once she sets her eyes upon a child, that child is no longer his mother's. No salt or prayer could break her grip. This story began many seasons ago, when a young girl named Obanuju, Uju for short, came from the city to visit her aged grandparents in Okutu. Her parents had sent her to the village for the long holidays so she could learn the ways of her people, eat real food cooked over firewood, and sleep under the stars, not electric bulbs. Uju was no different from many girls in the village, bright-eyed, kind-hearted, and curious like the river lizards that dart under the sun. She was full of questions. She had eyes like a curious squirrel and feet that never stayed still. Grandfather, Papa Namdi, was a man of great wisdom, known for his stories and the long staff he carried, carved with the symbols of his forefathers. Her grandmother, Mama Awele, cooked the best bitter leaf soup and always wore a red wrapper tied just below her belly, with cowries stitched into her blouse for protection. Uju, Papa Namdi said one evening, as the flames from the hearth danced like restless spirits, "Do not go near the forest when the sun begins to hide. That is the hour when the Tall One walks." Uju laughed. "Which Tall One, Papa?" Papa Namdi's eyes grew narrow like a snake sizing its prey. "The one who claps without hands. The one who floats and calls your name with the voice of someone you love." It was said that she only appeared when the sun began to close its eyes, and she only came for children. Once she marked you, once you saw her, she would follow, patient, silent, until she took you with her, and you never returned. Mama Awele quickly spat on the floor and whispered a prayer. "Ekwensu, ekwensu," she muttered, as though even hearing the tale called evil to the door. But Uju, like all children, thought the world was his playground. The warnings were tales to her, like cartoons on the TV back in the city. One moonless evening, Uju had gone out to fetch water from the village river. Mama Awele had warned her, "Make sure you come back before the cock stretches its neck to sleep. That forest near the path is not meant for young eyes after sunset." But Uju, with her playful feet and curious heart, delayed. She met other girls by the river and played 10-10. She skipped, she laughed, and by the time her hands touched her water pot, the shadows had already started to stretch like lazy cats. As she walked back, balancing her pot on her head, a wind swept past her, not cold, but heavy. It carried a scent like dry bones and wet cloth. And then, from the corner of her eye, she saw her, a woman. Not just tall, no, too tall. At first, she thought it was the trunk of a tree, but it moved. Slowly, gracefully. Her head bent forward, nearly brushing the canopy. Her wrapper was white, but not the white of joy. It was the white of mourning, of shrines and unmarked graves. Her hair was long and tangled, trailing behind her like smoke. And then came the sound. Poo, poo, poo. The woman moved. Is this kind of tale told in your village too? Type the name of your village or country below. Not walking, gliding. Her feet did not touch the ground. And again, poo, poo, poo. Soft, repeating, echoing through the trees like a broken song. Uju's feet froze. Her pot fell. Water spilled like blood from a broken calabash. Her lips refused to shout. Her heart beat as if trying to run away without her. The tall woman turned. Her face was neither old nor young, neither human nor beast. It was wrong. Eyes that seemed to stretch, lips that did not move, and a smile that dug into the soul like a hoe into dry earth. She turned to run, but her feet would not move. It was as if the forest held her. Then from nowhere came a voice, sharp, commanding, familiar. Uju, don't look at her! It was Mama Awele, who had felt something stir in her bones and had come searching. She burst through the clearing like a storm. She pulled the girl into her arms and muttered chants under her breath, chants older than the village itself. She did not look back. Her feet carried her with the strength of 10 women, all the way to their compound. As they crossed the gate of their compound, Mama Awele slammed it shut and dropped 3 cow bones at the entrance. That night, the door was locked with palm frond charms. Bowls of salt were placed at every corner. Red cloth hung over the doorway, and Uju was placed in a small room lined with sacred cowries, kola nuts, and chalk symbols drawn by Papa Namdi's trembling hand. She has marked him, the old man said in a whisper. Ne Onunu has chosen, and when she chooses, she does not forget. They lit a fire with 7 woods. She poured salt at the 4 corners of the room. She took a sacred red cloth and tied it around Uju's waist. That night, the stars hid their faces behind the clouds, as if they too feared what moved below. The air was heavy, so heavy that even the trees stopped rustling, and the bush rats dared not squeak. Uju sat alone in the sacred room, her heart pounding louder than the talking drum at a marriage festival. Her small hands gripped the wooden carving of Ikenga Papa Namdi had given her, half for protection, half for hope. Around her, the walls whispered, but she dared not open her mouth. Mama Awele and Papa Namdi remained outside, sitting before the shrine, pouring libations to the ancestors and chanting with cracked voices. Smoke from burning herbs filled the air, thick and bitter, trying to block out evil. But as the cock does not crow before dawn, the tall woman does not give up before midnight. At the 3rd hour of the night, the room grew cold. Not Harmattan cold, but cold like the kind that lives in a grave. Then came a sound, soft at first, gentle, familiar. Knock, knock. Uju, a voice called. It is me, Mama. Open the door, Nwan. It is safe now. Uju sprang up, joy bursting in his chest. Mama whispered, stepping toward the door. Yes, my child, came the reply. Warm like firewood soup. It is over. You can come out now. But just as her fingers touched the wooden latch, her stopped. The voice was smiling, yet hollow. Sweet, too sweet, yet soulless. Too smooth. Mama Awele's voice always trembled a little, always carried the weight of years and worry. This voice? It was hollow, like a calabash with nothing inside. And then came the sound. Poo, poo, poo. Uju stumbled back, nearly dropping the Ikenga. Uju, the voice now sang, why are you hiding? Come and let Mama carry you. But she did not move. She did not speak. She remembered Mama Awele's words. Once you answer her, you belong to her. She pressed his hands to ears and sank to the ground, rocking, chanting the prayer Papa had taught her. Let the ancestors shield me. Let the old ones guard me. Let the earth reject her and the fire blind her. The door shook once, then again, but it did not open. Outside, Mama Awele had collapsed in exhaustion, her voice now a whisper. Papa Namdi, with his last strength, drew a circle around the compound with Nzu chalk, calling upon the spirit of the earth to seal the house from the feet of the wandering dead. The wind howled. A voice laughed, not like a human laugh. No, this was the laughter of something that had not laughed in centuries. It was mocking, hungry. Then came silence, long, heavy, dreadful. Uju stayed curled on the ground till the first cock crowed, as the sun blinked over the hills. A warmth returned to the room. The charms on the wall stopped vibrating. The red cloth above the door fell to the ground, dry and now useless. Papa Namdi opened the door slowly. He found Uju trembling, with tears dried on her cheeks and the ikenga still clutched to her chest. She didn't take her, he whispered. No, Mama Awele replied, placing a shaky hand on her chest. But she's waiting. That very morning, her grandparents performed a great cleansing. With the help of the village priest, palm oil was smeared on Ness' forehead, and the footprints left behind were swept with a broom made of elephant grass. A chicken was sacrificed, and its blood poured on the footpath that led out of the village. Mama Awele held her tight, whispering, "Don't ever come back, my daughter. This land has eyes. It never forgets." Then they sent Uju away, back to the city. Her head was wrapped with red cloth. In her bag were kola nuts, the ikenga, and a charm tied in a leather pouch, Papa's last protection. As the vehicle bounced over potholes and past thick trees, Uju dared to look back. Bad idea. From the corner of her eye, just before the forest swallowed the village whole, saw a shadow, tall, thin, floating, watching. She raised her hands slowly, fingers long like dried cassava sticks, and then, Poo, Poo, Poo. Many, many rains passed. Uju became a woman. She grew tall, not as tall as her, no, but tall like a city fence. She went to university, wore suits, ... Even forgot how yam tastes straight from firewood. But the night never left her. Some nights she would dream of the forest, of white wrappers, of cold rooms, of voices that were not real. Sometimes he'd wake up and swear she heard it faintly, far off, but always coming closer. Poo, Poo, Poo. When news came that Mama Uju and Papa Namdi had passed, one after the other, as if their souls were tied with the same string, Uju returned to Okutu. They buried them behind the family compound, beside the ancient Udala tree. She wept, poured libation, and knelt before the graves. But the forest, the forest remained silent, too silent. As she stood alone, dusk creeping in like a thief, the wind picked up, and then, Poo, Poo, Poo. No footsteps, no birds, only that dreadful sound, sliding through the trees like a whispering spirit. She dropped her offering and ran, didn't pack, didn't look back, entered her car and drove until the trees turned into houses and the houses into traffic. Till this day, Uju does not return to Ukutu, but on certain nights, when the moon is full and the wind is still, she wakes up sweating, clutching her chest, and swearing she hears her voice outside window. Poo, Poo, Poo. Because Ne Onunu never forgets, never forgives. And once she chooses you, she waits, even if it takes a lifetime. But if you hear that sound, Poo, 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 Poo. Don't open your window. Don't answer your name. And above all, don't forget to like this story. Turn on the notification, drop a comment, and subscribe for more tales your grandmother was too afraid to tell. More stories are coming. Stay close to the fire and be careful where you sleep tonight.